Hey, what's happening, guys? Mike Moo here. First, let me just go ahead and say this. This iPhone XS Smart battery case that I'm using with my iPhone 10 because I don't have the XS is proven to be the best battery case I've ever used, just about for anybody. Now, there are a ton of other third-party battery cases, and here are a few reasons why the Apple battery case has been the best for me. Okay, so number one, this was actually designed by Apple. So it actually feels and looks with the fit and finish and the quality that you expect for an Apple product. It does run $130. I have seen it as cheap as $118 from a legitimate seller off of Amazon.com. And whether it was sold directly by Amazon, I'm not sure. If you're interested in it, I'll have a link down below in where I saw it. It might not be available by the time you see this video. Okay, second other thing is that there's full-on first-party integration because Apple will speak directly with Apple. So from here, you can actually see on the, if you've seen other videos already, you can actually see from the notifications when you plug it in exactly what the battery level charge is for both the case and the phone. And it's no good if you're looking at that and it doesn't deliver. I usually have a problem because I am a bit of a power user on the iPhone. I run through the battery life like no tomorrow. The first less than a year after having the iPhone 10 with all the stuff and notifications and GPS and all the things that I run on there, I typically can't last a full day without having this plugged in. Okay, and that's just general day-to-day use. Phone calls, I use the speakerphone a lot. Obviously, I use the camera function quite a bit as well. Basically, all in all, it just wasn't meeting my needs. So before the end of the year, I actually had to go and get my battery replaced because my wear level was all the way down to past 10%, like less than a year. And that's a pretty high battery wear level. Okay, so this has actually alleviated all my concerns and problems. If you take a look at the specifications on here, it'll give you talk time up to 33 hours, internet use up to 21 hours, and video playback up to 25 hours. So this has completely changed the game for me, and I don't need to walk around with an extra battery pack specifically for the iPhone. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still walk around with battery packs, but for the iPhone, I just never really ever have to worry about it. And that is something that has been completely new experience for me. And I'm talking about including battery packs by Mophie. Okay, for the iPhone, the other iPhone series that I purchased and used for a number of years, and you know the Apple iPhone is my daily driver. I really don't use much of anything else. Everything else is just a secondary, third product. So trust me when I say that this has really alleviated my issues with a battery life. Okay. Another thing you should know about this is that because of the integration, I think that the charging is pretty much optimized. So it doesn't overheat your phone as much as some other third-party solutions. There's actually a new one by Mophie, which is kind of interesting because it charges your phone through the wireless. So basically the Qi charging, and you charge the battery pack, and the battery pack then charges the phone wirelessly. Now that's not really a great idea on many levels because one, when the Qi charging wirelessly is of course less efficient than when you completely plug it in, right? And you also get a little bit more heat that way. So an integration through directly plugged in through the cord and a cable directly to the battery pack, and the battery pack directly charging your phone is also a better idea too. Also, there has been zero compatibility issues with using the Lightning port with other third-party accessories, such as this one, which I'm testing right now. It's a Pioneer speakerphone, little attachment. They also sell in the Apple Store, and other third-party microphones, other things that I plug in here, including my DxO1 camera, including the DJI Osmo Pocket. They've all been working seamlessly with this. Now, this is as of today, which is February 21st, 2019. Okay. I know that when it first launched, there were some issues that some people had with some compatibility things, but those have been basically taken care of since the iOS 12.1.3, I believe. So it's fully compatible. It also does the fast charging, so I can use the USB-C to PD to fast charge. And what it'll do is it'll actually fast charge the phone faster. And after that is charged, then it will put on the full on power over to the battery pack. At least that's what it appears to be doing, because I've noticed it gives you the priority so that it charges your phone first. So So there's probably a couple of questions where people are wondering, hey, what's the deal with compatibility? It says it's only for the XS or the new models, or if you're getting the XS Max model, the Apple iPhone Smart battery case, um, is it backwards compatible? I've been using it with the 10 since 12.1.3. Absolutely no issues whatsoever. I will say that there is a little bit teeny tiny little alignment thing over here, which you can see a tiny little gap underneath the camera lenses. But that is really, I mean, there's absolutely no problem because it's just a tiny gap, and that's only because there's a tiny little shift in the camera of the XS versus the iPhone 10. Okay. Now, there were some other questions that, a lot of people were wondering whether or not it's worth the money. Well, that really depends on you. If you want the best, be prepared to pay for it. $118, $130. I think it's worthwhile if you have battery problems or if you're carrying a battery pack and don't want to. This is definitely it. Is it going to give you enough protection? I haven't done a drop test on it, so I really can't say, although I can say that the lip definitely protects the screen and the back of the course is fully protected. I don't see any real area where if I just drop this casually from my pocket that I would have any concern whatsoever. Deciding between the black and the white one, probably something that you will need to consider is that the white one, of course, is going to show up a lot of more marks and, dirt and grime, obviously more than the black one. However, I've had this for a couple weeks now, and I'm not generally a dirty person. I wash my hands all the time. I've been sick though, so in case you haven't noticed in some of my videos, I sound really sick. But I really haven't seen or have any markings on here. It actually looks really clean. In fact, you can take a look at some video footage and photos that I've taken of this particular case after using it for 2 weeks. It's been pretty darn clean. But I can see where you got things like lipstick, and over time, just with the oils from your fingers, that this would probably end up turning a little bit yellow. And I see that a lot in some other third-party cases. But time will tell whether or not that's going to be the thing for you. Personally, I'm going to use the black case. The black case, of course, will not show up that stuff as much. But I have seen in some of the demos, the black case will show oily fingers and oily fingerprints and stuff a little bit more than you would see on the white one, just because it's going to glisten and show a little bit more shine on the black one than you would on the white one, just generally looking at it. Okay, I think let's see, overall, if you look at it, people say that it is I'm really kind of surprised that some people had some issues with it not working, and that's just something that this is great with the when you get it, is that if you get it through Amazon, you got 30 days to decide. If you get Apple, it's 2 weeks, zero problems whatsoever. I'm really surprised that some people did not get a full-on battery life. It might be that your battery has already been completely worn out. So in that case, hopefully you took advantage of the battery replacement from Apple. But yeah, I highly recommend it. It gives me definitely a whole day as a power user with no problems. I usually end the day close to 100%, 90%, or 80% just using the phone the way I used to. Whereas before, I would have been already completely dead. Now, I think some of the questions might be, well, does it come with any accessories? Not really. I think it comes with some of the typical Apple stickers. It doesn't even come with a cable. You can just use the cable or whatever cables that you use to charge your iPhone or iPads with. Ideally, you want to get the USB-C with a PD with a PD charger case, and I'll have some links down below of some ones that I use. You can use the Apple original, or you can use some sort of third party to do the fast charging. Another great thing, of course, which I might have mentioned just real briefly, is that Qi charging is completely supported through the case. So you can theoretically Qi charge your phone directly from the case. It'll just pass that battery power right to your phone, or if your phone's already charged, it'll just charge up the case as well. Of course, that's a much slower way of charging, but I have found that the coils are pretty darn efficient, because I have tried other third-party coils and they seem to heat up my phone more than the Apple iPhone case. Again, that's probably something that has to do with a better integration with the actual Apple iPhone itself. Now, there is a case that I would recommend that you get instead, perhaps, when it's finally released to the public, and that is the. Well, let me grab it here. That is the Moment iPhone battery case. It is, of course, a third party. It doesn't have as great of an integration, but the main thing about this is for us photographers who want to use the best accessory lenses is that, of course, it has the all-important Moment lens mounts. So you can lock in the Moment lenses, so you can have wider angle, better telephoto, double, wide angle, fish, macro, all that stuff here, and even anamorphic. And this is a I want to say an early version of the case, and as you can see, it is still pretty thick, right? Roughly the same thickness. It almost looks like it was designed by the same exact people, because if you can see this right here, it's almost the same except it's a little bit taller, and that's because they have this whole area down here that that really routes out the speaker function towards the front, and that is something that does not happen on the iPhone thing here. Right here. See, it just routes it down below, whereas this one routes it out to the front. I will say that this is the prototype or the early version of it. I've had nothing but issues with it. And so unfortunately, none of the battery functions and any of that, none of it works for me now. And actually, because it's not a first party integration, not an Apple product, it doesn't speak directly with the iPhone. It actually has to go through Bluetooth to communicate. So Bluetooth low energy, and that's not really much of a problem, except that there's been some software issues along with the chips and stuff, and so this has completely just stopped working. But this would be the other case to consider. I believe that Moment will get this all figured out, and by the time that it is available to order again, I think sometime in March, it should be a fantastic choice. So these would be my two favorite choices in terms of the battery cases for the iPhone 10 or the XS or the XS Max once it comes out. All right, I think that pretty much considers most of the questions and concerns a lot of you guys might have had about the case, and I give it a hearty thumbs up. If you can get over the price, this is easily one of the ones that you should look for. Now, there are a lot of cheaper cases, some with a battery as cheap as $23, but you got to ask yourself too, is that there is a potential for the battery case to kind of damage your phone and the batteries, because it is not as well designed. It does not have as good charging efficiency probably, and probably won't have a lot of the functions and features or the Lightning complete pass-through integration with the iPhone. That's the reason why I didn't really consider a lot of these other third-party battery cases, because my experience of those have not been great. And if you're looking for support, good luck. You're simply just not going to get it. And you really don't know how long the battery life is going to last. Whereas, of course, this is easily the second generation of the Apple product of the battery case that they've been working on. And they seem to have nailed all the issues and concerns that I have had so far. Now, my only main wish is I can't wait until they have new colors for this. White and black are nice, but I would like to see the product red. So for me personally, I'd probably hold out for a product red. Hopefully it gets announced or somewhere in the news, because I really love red and supporting everything that the product red is about. And they usually release it for about the same price. Okay, so that's it for this long video and rambling and short little review of the Apple iPhone XS Smart Battery Case, specifically used on an iPhone 10. If you have any other questions or things that I did not cover, feel free to let me know down below. I think some people might be interested in how the sound comes from here, and to be honest, I haven't noticed any difference whatsoever. It hasn't increased, it hasn't decreased. It's still the same pretty darn good sound coming out from here, about as good as you can get from a smartphone anyways, without any third-party battery. Okay, thanks for watching. Please give this a like, subscribe for more. If you're interested in purchasing this, or if you think you might get lucky and get that $118 price on both, the XS Max version of this is $118 right now. Okay, so that's easily $10, $11 cheaper than the one from Apple. But the one for the XS, not the Max model, comes in and out of stock. So, depending on your luck, you may or may not be able to catch it. So anyways, check out those links down below. Thanks for your support, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. They are setting up for Samsung tomorrow's launch of the new phone.
In the new store.
New phone and new store. I wonder if it's going to be broadcast from here. There's no way. That'd be crazy.